Good afternoon and welcome in to the National Basketball Performance Centre here in Manchester. We've got some BWB Division 1 North action for you today as the Manchester Revolution host the Sheffield Steelers. Kaz Bullock here alongside Ishanaya as we get ready to tip off. So Manchester coming into this game after a loss last time out to the Jaguars in February, 83-64. Manchester sitting at 4 wins and 5 losses this season. And Sheffield in second place in Division 1 North. 8 wins and 2 losses. They last played the Lothian Phoenix last weekend, winning that one 58-47. So teams coming out onto court as we get ready to tip off. Manchester playing in yellow and Sheffield in blue. And for the tip, it will be Thompson and Kavanagh. Brad Thompson and Henley Kavanagh facing off against each other. And coming up after this game on the Focus Hoops YouTube channel, we've got the Premier Division matchup between the Manchester Revolution and Sheffield Steelers. But we're underway and first possession goes to the Revolution. And it's Bridge round the outside to Doherty. Ball's into Kavanagh, and Kavanagh puts in 2 for the Revolution and gets them onto the scoreboard. And Henley Kavanagh, someone that we've seen all season long. He's been with the Revolution a few seasons now, plays both Division 1 and Premier, and he just continues to up his game.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him so all season and last season, previous seasons. He's just such a great scoring player because, I mean, his length definitely helps him. He's just able to, they're just able to find him. He's able to just reach, get that pass just over everyone else. I mean, he's averaging 23.8 points a game this season, so it just goes to show how much of a scoring threat he really is.
And that's a huge amount of points he's been putting up. Doherty to Kavanagh. Kavanagh thought about it against Thompson. Swings the ball round to Bridge. 4 seconds on the clock. Bridge puts up a 3, sinks it! And Billy Bridge gets his first points of the game in style.
Yeah, what a way to open your scoring for the game. Nice 3, nothing but a net. It's a perfect shot, really.
Bridge was with the Revolution a few seasons ago. He's come back this season to them, but that's what we're used to seeing from him. He was playing in the Premier Division at the time, and he's a really tough player to stop, especially when he gets going.
Yeah, I mean, a Paralympian at the end of the day, so can't really argue that, just pure skill.
As Joe Williams gets Sheffield onto the scoreboard. 5-2 Revolution lead. Doherty into Woof, under the basket, and a 3-second call, so basket's waved off. Steve Jowl will get it over the halfway line for Sheffield. Holland. Round to Wilson. Wilson can't get the roll. Bridge takes the rebound. Bridge. Over to Dawson. And ball's knocked out of bounds. Good hands there from Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, we're only 3 minutes, and obviously, but Sheffield definitely already in the game. They just did a better job there, just slowing that Manchester offense down, forcing them to pass the ball and just actually kind of have to work for the shots that they're taking.
That's exactly what you want to do on defense, isn't it? Make it as difficult as possible as Kavanagh splashes in 2 more for Manchester. Make it as difficult as possible for your opponent to get a shot that they want. You don't want to give them any easy shots.
Exactly, yeah. Like, especially when you're on defense, you want to make offense play your game. You don't want to let them play their own game and just do what they want.
Thompson over to Williams. Wilson, 3 is up and off the front of the rim. Manchester back down the floor. Doherty to Kavanagh. Back to Doherty. That foul line shot is his shot. That's the look that he wants as Kavanagh grabs the offensive rebound. So Manchester will get another chance. Ball's inside to Woof. Gets the roll. And we've got a timeout called by Sheffield. They want to talk it over. It's a 7-2. Should be a 9-2 lead after that last basket from James Woof for Manchester.
Yeah, understandable that Sheffield will close timeout. I mean, as you said, 9-2 run to open the quarter. Probably not the start that Sheffield would have wanted. Definitely need to do a better job defensively there, because at the moment the Revs are just doing whatever they want. They're just dictating the whole game. They're forcing Sheffield to miss the shots. They're getting the shots that they want to on offense. And if Sheffield don't put a stop to that now, then the score could get pretty high. And
for Manchester, a very quick 3 minutes, as you just said, Isha. They've been averaging just over 61 points a game, putting up 9 in the first 3 minutes. That's a really good score for them.
It is, and like if they continue to score at that rate, especially, then they'll be well over their season average.
So teams coming back out onto the floor. Sheffield looking to chip into this Manchester lead, and it's Sheffield coming off the win last weekend. 8 wins this season for Sheffield. The teams last played each other in December in Sheffield, and the Steelers coming out on top 78-53.
Yeah, so the Revs will definitely want to be looking at getting a win here.
Wilson for the Steelers. Wilson round to Williams. Back to Wilson. Thompson fading away. Too strong. Woof gets the rebound.
Yeah, nice bit of ball movement there from Steelers. Shame they couldn't get the shot to go though.
Kavanagh to Bridge. Bridge driving to the basket. Lays it in for 2. And a hot start from Bridge. 5 points. And having him back out on the floor for Manchester, that's a real boost for them, as some games he's not been available, so certainly a big impact when he is out on the floor.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just a really experienced player as well, and just sometimes having that experience, especially when you've got younger players out on the floor like Kavanagh, it's really important to have that and just know how to kind of control the game a bit more.
And yeah, you mentioned it before, but playing at the Paralympics in Tokyo in 2020, and you know, you've got someone to learn from that's played at the highest level in the sport. You're going to be able to soak up so much.
Yeah, and like that is invaluable. Sometimes that's more valuable in itself than, I don't know, practicing or actually playing in the game. Like just having a player with that experience with you.
And it's not just on-court stuff as well that you can learn. It's off-court as well, isn't it? As Bridge over to Kavanagh, and Kavanagh fading away, gets it to go.
Yeah, Kavanagh, he's not missed yet, has he?
No, he hasn't. Yeah. He has. We don't have the live stats for Division 1, but Henley Kavanagh's shooting percentage has got to be, I want to say it's like 60+%.
Probably. He does
not. I want
to
say 70, 80.
Yeah.
As Sheffield answer with 2. But Kavanagh, yeah, he shoots a very high percentage, and we see it in Division 1. In the Premier Division as well. So he's shooting just under 58% in the Premier Division. And he's averaging 10.3 points a game. So Manchester with a 13-4 lead here in the first quarter. Bridge to Doherty. Foul line shot is good for Cal Doherty. And we saw him here back when Manchester were playing against the Northern Ireland Academy late last year. Doherty had a massive 24-point game. That foul line shot is what he's always going to look for. And Bonner answers for the Steelers and gets himself onto the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers offensively now, they look a little bit more switched on. They're making those shots. Before they were finding them, but now they're actually sinking them as well. So good signs for them.
Bridge, long pass over to Kavanagh. Kavanagh doesn't get it to go. And Sheffield back down the floor. Wilson against Dawson. Wilson trying to find some space, and ball will go the way of Manchester. That's the defence of Gary Dawson. He's a pesky defender. He's one for our pesky defender list.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just making those plays that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet all the time, but really crucial plays in the game.
That's exactly what he's best at. As Kavanagh has the ball for Manchester, working against Zhao. Doherty driving baseline. Bridge is there under the basket, gets the whistle. And Billy Bridge will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, good start from the game from the Revs so far. Steelers look like they are, I mean, I'm not going to catch up straight away, but they have definitely more positive signs from them. But
certainly after that timeout.
Yeah, 100%. But the Revs, they just came out such a strong start there. I mean, 9 points in the first 2 minutes, was it?
3 minutes. 3 minutes,
yeah. That's a ridiculous start.
As Bridge hits the first free throw. And he's up to 8 points here in the first quarter. And goes 2 of 2 from the line. Leads up to 11 for the Revolution. And for the Revolution, this is their last home game of the season in Division 1 North. So they're certainly going to look to try and finish strong in front of a home crowd. What a shot there from Bonner. Takes the Steelers up to 8.
There's some really good shooting on display here today. I mean, some of these shots, they're not just going in, they're just like perfect, just perfect swish. I'm sure if our headphones are off, we definitely hear that swish sound.
Doherty over to Bridge. 8 seconds. And pass is too strong, will go out of bounds. Sheffield will get it back.
Yeah, we're not going to see many of those just passes that are going out of bounds. I mean, a lot of these players are on the same page. They make really good plays and move the ball around well.
As Thompson under pressure, off the front of the rim. And a big board for Kavanagh. Yeah, and this is a team, and both teams, in fact, have got a lot of experience playing together over the years as well. This Revolution team players that have come through from the Mavericks and time with the Oldham Owls before the merger of the Revolution. But again, 3 or 4 seasons now, you're getting that consistency.
I think that's commentators' curse, if anything.
As the ball goes out of bounds, and Sheffield will get it back. Just under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Wilson, round to Williams. Bonner on the baseline, back to Williams, has space from the foul line, nets it. And a really good run here the last couple of minutes for the Steelers.
Yeah, whatever they spoke on this time out, it definitely worked. Like, I mean, as I said before, they're not all of a sudden going to catch up straight away, but now they're finding, not only are they finding the shots, they're also sinking them as well. So they definitely found some sort of rhythm here.
And sometimes it can be a case kind of you get those shots early, they don't make them, but that you've done the hard work there. You've got the look that you want, so those shots will cut. The shot will fall.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what we've seen over the past few minutes for the Steelers.
Kavanagh has space, puts it up. Not that time. Sheffield can cut this to a 2-possession game. Thompson to Bonner. Ball's tipped to Zhao. Thompson can't get it to full, but gets his own rebound. Ball will spin out. Could see Billy Bridge there getting our hand on it from behind on the shot, just sort of disrupting it.
There was a foul called, although I don't think everyone else was aware.
So it'll be Manchester ball from the sideline, and fouls on Brad Thompson for the Steelers. That's Thompson's first second team foul on the Steelers. Doherty. Woof. And short shot is good. And James Woof adds another 2 for Manchester.
Yeah, everyone's getting involved in the action for Manchester. It's just great because it just goes to show how much they move the ball around. That it's not just one person who's getting all those scores.
They've got so many threats from on the court.
Yeah, they really do. And it makes it, from a defensive point of view, it makes it so difficult because there's no one way you can let your guard down, really.
You go out to something, you go, okay, we're going to try and defend Billy Bridge as Dawson roll into the basket. Not that time. You think, okay, we'll try close down Bridge, but then Kavanagh's there, Doherty's there, Woof's there. It's tricky.
Definitely, but the Steelers definitely done a decent job so far. But they'll be looking to definitely clamp down on them more in this second quarter.
As Thompson under pressure. That's a really difficult shot from Thompson. As final 35 seconds of the first quarter. Bridge has it for Manchester. Bridge lines it up off the back iron, and Kavanagh with the offensive rebound. Back to Kavanagh on the baseline, spins, runs into Thompson. Long pass over to Bridge, 3 seconds to go on the shot clock as Woof picks it up and at the buzzer can't get it to drop. So the Steelers have got 10 seconds. 5 seconds, ball's over the halfway line. 1 second and at the buzzer! What a shot from Joe Williams with time running down. And that cuts the lead down to 5. So 19-14, Manchester leading the Steelers at the end of the first quarter. That's a high-paced, high-energy first quarter from both teams.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that shot at the end there just kind of goes to show the tail of the quarter. I mean, the Revs came out really strong. You know, we spoke about it multiple times already, but 9 points in the first 3 minutes of the game. You can't argue that, really. They were just finding the shots. They were sinking them. And they weren't just making them. They were, like, the shooting that's been on display, you know what I mean? It's just been literally perfect every time. Proper swishes. But then if you take a look at the Steelers, you know, they came out a bit slow. They did make, like, one, but then they had to call that timeout early on. But since then, they really did just start finding the bottom of the net. I don't know what they spoke about specifically, because even prior to the timeout, they were finding the shots. But the difference is they just started sinking them, really. So
yeah, Coach Kev Hayes on the sideline. Certainly, whatever he said the magic words to them.
Yeah, definitely.
And it worked. So Sheffield have been led by Joe Williams with 6 points so far. William Bonner and Brad Thompson adding in 4 points each. And then for Manchester, 9 points from Billy Bridge. And then 4 points each from Henley Kavanagh and Cal Doherty. And for Sheffield as well, obviously. So Bridge with that really high-scoring first quarter. Do you want to see them now kind of try and force the ball out of his hands, make someone else score like we mentioned before?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely could look at doing that, but again, like as we spoke about, this Revs team, they have so many scoring options, so they can go and try and shut Bridge down, but the ball's going to go elsewhere in somebody else's hands, into likes of, I don't know, into Kavanagh's, into who else is, I mean, into anyone's really, literally anyone. You know, we know everyone here can score well. I mean, Doherty is literally averaging 15 as well, so there's plenty of scoring to be seen yet.
There certainly is. And Sheffield as well, they're a team of scorers. So this is certainly going to be a fun matchup today. So ball's in. Wilson has it. And there's that pesky defense of Gary Dawson again as Bridge racing down the court, out in transition, puts into and takes himself into double figures.
Yeah, I don't think it was what we just discussed. I don't think they've been looking at shutting Bridge down. With a player like that, it's more about just containing rather than shutting down, because very difficult to shut down.
Williams, shot short. Bonner's there for the rebound. Can't get it to go. Gets a second chance, but will be fouled on the shot. So 2 free throws to come. Foul will be against, looked like that was on Doherty, so that'll be his first team foul against the Revolution.
Yeah, and the Revolution, they actually didn't commit any fouls in that first quarter, so great discipline on defense from them.
That was on Kavanagh, sorry, not Doherty, so Kavanagh picked up his first. Yeah, that's a very good observation, Isha. No fouls in the first.
And then credit to Sheffield as well, because to be fair, they only had one, so both teams just showing that discipline on defense.
So William Bonner at the foul line, also playing Premier Division for the Steelers. And gets a second. It's a 5-point game. Bridge. Bridge looking for some help. Kavanagh with a tough catch, drops it inside underneath the basket to Doherty, but that'll be a 3-second call against the Revolution. That's a couple of them that they've had now in the game.
Yeah, it just goes to show, I mean, there was just that pass time. It was a really tough pass to make, but they are finding, the Revs are finding people inside, but it just goes to show Sheffield's defense, they're just that up in their faces that even when they do get that pass off, they're not able to get the shot off.
As another 2 goes for the Steelers, and they're chipping into this lead as Bonner takes himself up to 8 points. And it's a single possession game. Kavanagh. Ball's picked up by Dawson. Back to Kavanagh, 4 seconds on the clock. Dawson from the foul line, nails it! As Gary Dawson gets himself onto the scoreboard for Manchester. Ball's over to Wilson. Long 2 off the front of the rim, and Bridge gets another rebound for Manchester. Kavanagh, double team, doesn't matter. And that's the impact Kavanagh has. He's able to hold the ball really high above his head, so it makes it really difficult for defenders. He's usually got a hand in his face, but he's just able to get the ball over them.
Yeah, just that really long wingspan. He just knows how to use it as well, because, as you said, just holds it above. His shot is nice and high, nice high arc, so it's really difficult to get a hand on that and contest it.
As ball's knocked out of bounds, last touch Manchester. Good defense from the Steelers. As it's a 25-18 lead for Manchester here in the second quarter. Williams to Bonner. Back to Williams. 7 seconds on the clock. Wilson on the baseline. Shot bounces off, but it's tipped, and Jow gets another chance. Bridge, he's had the hot hand for Manchester so far. Drops it inside to Doherty. Back to Dawson. Bridge. Kavanagh. Doherty on the foul line. Not that time.
Yeah, shame they couldn't get that one to sink, because there was some really good ball movement there going on. Just forcing the defense to move and think.
Yeah, it was really quick passes from Manchester. As ball's inside to Williams, who banks it in for 2. And we'll have a timeout called by head coach Dan Johnson for the Manchester Revolution. With just under 6.5 minutes to play, it's a 5-point game.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, both teams have been able to keep up that intensity they seem to have come out within the first quarters, because sometimes you see it dip a little bit in the second, don't you, because it's just hard to keep up that pace, but neither team seems remotely bothered by that.
Yeah, they literally just brought that momentum straight into this second quarter. Just took no time in calming down. I mean, it's not... We're seeing some good basketball out there. There's some really good ball movement going on. We just saw that last play by the Revolution, but people are missing. They're really not. I mean, it feels like every time we're looking up and down, we're going up and down, but it's because they're just sinking the shots, and we're going to end up seeing a really high-scoring game. But it's not for the lack of defense, because there's some really good defense going on out there. Yeah, these players still sinking these shots. Just some really good shooting going on here. I guess sometimes when your teammates are in the rhythm, especially when they're in shooting rhythm, it kind of, you pick up on that and you feed off that as well. So you get more confident in your own shot, and then when everyone starts making them, it kind of just brings the whole energy up on the team.
Yeah, definitely. That's really what it feels like. So teams coming back out onto the floor. It's a 5-point Manchester lead. Doherty over to Kavanagh. Kavanagh thought about it, finds Doherty, Woof under the basket, and that'll be another 3-second call against Manchester. That's something they need to try and tighten up on a bit now. That's the third.
Yeah, they're getting called on that a lot, and that's already, I think they must have been called minimum 3 times. That's 3 turnovers, and the Steelers are starting to capitalise on every single turnover that they commit now, so they're becoming really important.
Yeah, especially in close games.
Yeah, and this one looks like it's heading towards that as well.
Bridge into Kavanagh under the basket. That's a tough catch from Kavanagh. And I think that was another 3-second call under the basket. Wilson to Bonner. Nice cut inside from Williams. Count it and the foul. And Joe Williams goes to the foul line for a chance at an and-one opportunity.
Yeah, that's a huge play for the Steelers then. There's just a chance for them to make it, just to turn it into that one-possession game.
Joe Williams with 29 points against the Whirlwinds earlier this season. Hits the free throw. And Williams is now into double figures. He's up to 11 and it's a 2-point game. Kavanagh to Bridge. Bridge using the screen from Woof, rolls off the rim. And the Steelers with a chance to tie or take the lead on this possession. Bonner hits and we're tied at 25 all.
Yeah, just like that, we're a tied game. Every single possession now really counts. Not that they didn't before, but you know.
It becomes more and more important as the game goes on. As Doherty at the foul line, off the back iron, Thompson with the rebound.
Yeah, especially those things that were that were happening a lot as well. Just like them 3-second violations we were talking about, they really need to crack down on them because once is fine, twice is a little bit more fine. When it keeps on happening, like it's happening to the Revolution at the moment, not the best, especially in the context of this game now.
And because if you commit a turnover and you give up points at the other end, you're 6, 8, 10 points. It can be really impactful throughout the game. As a foul on the floor goes against the Steelers. That'll be the first team foul against the Steelers this quarter. Fouls on Bonner, his first. So it'll be Manchester ball from the sideline. Doherty. Kavanagh on the baseline. And can't get it to go. Oldham under the basket and then the putback. The putback from Kavanagh. Manchester back on top by 2. Wilson. Thompson, great pass to Jow under the basket, it's too strong.
Oh, it's a nice little pass there. Shame he can't get it to go.
Bridge drops it inside to Woof, leaves it short. As Bonner leading the charge back down the floor. One of the players returning for the Steelers this season is Bonner as he hands over to Wilson. Can't get it to fall, but Thompson's there for the rebound and gets fouled on the shot.
Yeah, I know that first quarter especially, it looked like the Revolution, they came out strong. It looked like the momentum was with them, but kind of at the moment out there, it looks like it's swung around a little bit. It currently looks like the Steelers kind of on top. Whilst they are down by 2, it kind of feels like they're the ones that are controlling the game at the moment. I mean, the Revolution, they're not getting as many of the shots that they would have. They're not getting as many shots as like they were before. You know, they're not finding shots that they want to take. But credit to the Steelers for kind of just limiting that, and they've really come out and just turned up that intensity on defense.
Yeah, the momentum really feels like it's swung the way of the Steelers. As Thompson misses the first. Thompson had a 19-point game against the Revolution when they met up in December. And also playing for the Premier Division Steelers team. As Sheffield not able to capitalise at the foul line. As Kavanagh brings the ball back down the floor. Doherty. Doherty, all the time and space, can't get it to fall. But that's the look that Doherty wants. We see him make that time after time.
Yeah, and eventually they'll start to fall, so.
Bonner, long two is good. And we're tied back at 27 all.
Yeah, the Steelers, they're not giving the Revolution any room at all. Anytime it feels like, okay, they might have got a little bit of a lead, they're just catching up back up.
Doherty to Bridge. And a whistle on the play. So that's a foul on the floor. It will be Manchester possession. So that's the second foul on Thompson. Second team foul on the Steelers. So Bridge to inbound. Doherty has it. Back to Bridge. Bridge fading away. Off the rim. And Sheffield can go ahead on this possession. Bonner. Williams from the foul line. No good. And Bridge, we haven't got rebounding stats here, Isha, but Billy Bridge feels like he's had at least 6 or so in this first half.
Yeah, he just knows how to get himself in that correct position. It's really good at anticipating where the ball's going to go.
Kavanagh working on the baseline, stops, turns, and draws the foul. So 2 free throws to come here for Henley Kavanagh and Manchester. And that's a move that Kavanagh does really well. He tries to get that screen on the baseline, then he'll drive. But the way he stops in his chair and is able to turn very quickly, it's really impressive.
Yeah, just to be able to kind of like shoot even with that movement just takes a lot of control and stability. But I mean, we've only got 1 minute 56 remaining in this quarter now. But I feel like whichever team goes into the break on top definitely will be huge in the context of this game. Because I mean, for the Revolution, they'll definitely want to be on top, considering they had that nice little cushion at the start of the game. But for the Steelers, if they're able to turn it around and then come back on top going into the second half, definitely be a really good momentum boost for them. Certainly would. So what would happen if it was tied? It's tied.
Who's got the momentum then?
I feel like it could go anyone's way. It depends, because currently in this game, it looks like the Steelers have it. It depends if the Revolution are going to kind of take that control back a little bit.
So Bridge round to Doherty. And ball's knocked out of bounds, stays with Manchester. It's a 1-point Revolution lead. Long pass over to Kavanagh. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Kavanagh lines it up and banks it in. And Kavanagh now up to 11 points as Manchester have a 3-point lead.
Yeah, and that's what we needed to see from the Revolution. They've just gone into it. Feels like they've taken back a little bit more of that control.
Jow under the basket, and he's fouled on the shot, so 2 free throws for Steve Jow. And that's the first foul against Nathan Oldham for Manchester. 4th team foul for the Revolution, so the next one will put them in the bonus. Steve Jow, again, another returning player for the Steelers, was playing Division 1 and Division 2 last year for the Sheffield Steelers. And doesn't get the free throw. Kavanagh secures the ball for Manchester. Final minute of the first half. Bridge. Oh, great pass to Jennings, cutting to the basket. Ball's tipped into the hands of Doherty, who puts in 2 more for Manchester.
Yeah, and that's the type of shots they were getting in that first quarter. They've had a little bit of a slump in this second, but it's good to see that towards the end that they're getting back into that rhythm.
And a big shot from Brad Thompson. What an answer there for the Steelers. There's a timeout called, but Thompson, a huge shot there towards the end of the first half. Cuts it back down to a 2-point lead, and that's a big difference, isn't it, Isha? So a 5-point game to a 2-point game. Whilst it's only another possession, it feels very different.
Oh, 100% it does. I mean, just as we were saying before, anytime the Revolution looks like they're getting away a little bit, the Steelers are just crawling back into it, and they're just keeping them tight, just within 1 possession, 2 possession, and especially now considering it is the end of the second half. It'll be really good for the Steelers now if they can keep it within 2 points or even have it tied. Obviously, ideally they'd be on top, but with the defense that we're seeing out there, it's not the easiest to score. So both teams done a really good job at getting points up in the shots that they've been making, the shots that they've been creating. But it could go either way, it really could. So sometimes I know you like to say about every game, but sometimes you just know, don't you?
Yeah.
But this game, it could really be anyone's.
And like you said, the teams have been scoring, but it's not for a lack of defense. And we've seen some really tough defense. It's just that it's been great defense, but great offense. So Manchester will inbound from the end line. So teams will get a possession each here with 30.6 seconds to play in the quarter. So a 6-second difference between the shot and game clock. Doherty to Bridge. Back to Doherty. Doherty spinning. Finds Kavanagh. Back to Doherty. Bridge with space. Shots up and down! And the Steelers will have 10 seconds to get something off here at the end of the quarter. And they're taking some time here, getting it over the halfway line, but Thompson will launch. And, oh, that was close. That was close. So at the end of the first half, a 34-30 lead for the Manchester Revolution over the Sheffield Steelers. Billy Bridge leading all scorers with 13 points, and then Henley Kavanagh adding in 11 for Manchester. And Will Bonner with 12 for Sheffield, and Joe Williams with 11 for the Steelers. Brad Thompson adding in 7 points. So Manchester, you mentioned it a bit earlier, Isha, but Manchester have been spreading the scoring around a little bit more than Sheffield.
Yeah, they have. And it just goes to show that, well, Sheffield have been playing really good defence. Like I said before, they can't really shut down one person. So they, no disrespect to any players, but sometimes you might approach it differently. You might go, all right, we're going to face guard this person, everyone else is going to play normal defence. But the Steelers, they can't really do that with this Revolution team. They have to be ready to play 100% defense on every single player because of that scoring distribution. I mean, the Steelers, they've had 3 people contribute to the scoring. It says a lot about those players. Maybe the Revolution have to look at shutting down those players who have got that scoring, but it would be better for them if they could see if they can spread that out a bit. And
especially we're seeing Joe Williams at that foul line. He's getting that foul line look a lot, and that's the shot that he likes. So maybe Manchester need to get out to that and kind of force him to shoot from elsewhere.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when they know that they've seen him do that. But they've got 10 minutes now, kind of talk it through what they need to do for that second half, get some shots up just to keep in that rhythm, because I think, to be fair, there was that middle sort of a bit in that second quarter there where both teams are missing quite a few, but other than that, we've seen some really good shooting on display here.
Yeah, it's been really fast-paced, and Manchester just above their average here at half-time, scoring-wise, and Sheffield just slightly underneath. So, yeah, suddenly going to be an exciting second half coming up. So we're going to take a quick break for half-time, and we'll be back in about 8 minutes' time. Welcome back to the National Basketball Performance Centre here in Manchester. We've had a very quick half-time, so we're back earlier than expected. Manchester with a 4-point lead as we head into the third quarter, 34-30 over the Sheffield Steelers. And it's Manchester possession to start things off. And ball's over to Kavanagh. Kavanagh driving to the basket, gets the foul call. So Henley Kavanagh will go to the line for 2. And that's the third foul on Thompson for Sheffield. So maybe something Sheffield might need to just watch out for a little bit there. You don't want Brad Thompson getting into picking up any more.
Yeah, definitely it will hurt them, especially considering he's one of the 3 players who contributes that scoring. So if he goes out, it's just dampening scoring opportunities even more.
But a player that, you know, he's a young player but with a lot of experience, so that's the kind of thing that he'll be able to hopefully be able to manage as Kavanagh gets the second. So it's a 5-point Manchester lead. Wilson has space, shots up off the front of the rim. And Doherty takes it down the floor. Doherty over to Bridge. Back to Doherty. 8 seconds. Woof with 5 seconds, trying to make some space. 3 seconds on the baseline. Shot rolls off. And a foul on the rebound. So I'll go against Manchester.
Already we've seen more fouls in this quarter than we did in that first quarter.
Yeah, in the first 45 seconds.
And we're not here. We're not even a minute in. It's crazy.
Bridge. Great pass inside to Kavanagh. Kavanagh, oh, what a finish! He had his back to the basket.
Yeah, Henley Kavanagh doesn't even need to be facing the basket to score. Just what an amazing scorer. Just able to finish no matter what angle he's facing.
The whole play as well, a really tough catch, and then just behind the head. Gives Manchester a 7-point lead as Thompson can't answer. Manchester looking to extend their lead here. Bridge to Woof under the basket. Great hands there from Wilson, but Woof able to get the shot off. Wilson being a disruptive defender there underneath the basket. Sheffield looking to cut into this deficit. Bonner. Thompson, ball's knocked away by Doherty. Doherty chasing it down, gets it over the halfway line. Manchester have numbers as Kavanagh races to the hoop and scoops it up and in.
Yeah, great little break there from the Revolution. Really great start to the quarter from them. Similar starts that we saw in that first quarter. You know, they're just going to keep getting those scores. They're going to keep running the floor. But yeah, good start from them this quarter.
Bonner gets the foul. And that'll be the second against Manchester this quarter. So sideline for Sheffield as Bridge picks up his second personal. Yeah, it really has mirrored the start of the first quarter, hasn't it? Just almost pretty much the same. Thompson to Bonner. Bonner puts it up. Shot rolls off the rim. And Manchester a chance to take this lead to double figures. There's Bridge to Kavanagh. And Kavanagh again, Henley Kavanagh. What is he doing? This is outrageous.
Yeah, he literally cannot be stopped right now. It doesn't matter what way he's facing, it doesn't matter where he catches it, he's just able to find the bottom line net.
They are two of the most difficult shots that we've seen in this game. As Sheffield looking to respond, Williams under the basketball's knocked away by Bridge. It'll go out of bounds, so Sheffield keep possession, but Bridge able to stop what looked like it was going to be an easy layup there for Williams.
Yeah, just really great there from Bridge, just reading the play, seeing what's happened, just timed it perfectly, able to get the block.
As ball go out of bounds, so Manchester will have it. So Manchester putting up 7 points in the first 2.5 minutes, as we saw them with those 9 points in the first 3 minutes of the first quarter. So they've certainly come out firing today, as Doherty doesn't get the bounce. Wilson against Kavanagh, finds Thompson. And foul on the floor. That's the third against Manchester, so it will be Sheffield ball. And we'll see a substitution for Sheffield as Jared Ryan checks into the game for the first time. And Brad Thompson heads to the bench. Thompson with 7 points for Sheffield.
Yeah, he's done a great job at contributing to the scoring, but the only thing is he is on 3 fouls, so maybe they just take him out there, just give him a rest, just so they don't lose him before the fourth quarter, where things could get close here.
As Bono puts it up, can't get it to fall.
A lot more fouls this quarter. I mean, already we've had more fouls in this quarter than the first half alone.
Yeah. So that'll be the second on Wilson. Steelers on 2 team fouls and Manchester on 3. Kavanagh to Doherty. Over to Bridge. See Kaylee English into the game for the first time for Manchester as Bridge banks in 2. And he's up to 13. And a 13-point lead for the Revolution. Williams runs into Kavanagh, and ball will go out of bounds. Manchester ball.
Yeah, Steelers still just unable to get off the mark this quarter. You know, it's after having such a great sort of, I wouldn't say comeback because they weren't down by a huge margin, but just after having a great second quarter, you know, they were really good. They really turned on defensively, offensively. They were finding the scores. Just really, really struggling to get off the mark here. But as we see a timeout from the Steelers, again mirroring that first quarter, maybe they'll talk things through and they might be able to get more scores on the board after this.
Yeah, and like you said, so Sheffield not able to score this quarter. Manchester putting up 9. Some quick maths there from me. So it was a 19-14 run for Manchester in the first quarter. And then they put up 15 in the second. And Sheffield actually winning the second quarter 16-15 against Manchester. So, yeah, but Manchester certainly coming out of that half-time, I wouldn't say half-time break, but it was a shortened one. So didn't have too much time to have to talk things over. But whatever they have done has certainly worked.
Yeah, it really has. Probably just they just want to come out of this, just continuing from where they left off. You know, they want to keep finding those scores, keep up the intensity on defense. But the Steelers, they really just need to find a score here now.
And for the Steelers, they'll have one more home game after this one. They'll be playing the Whirlwinds on the 22nd of March. The Revolution will be playing Lothian Phoenix on the 18th of April away, and then Tees Valley the day after, a back-to-back weekend for them. That'll also be away. So we are heading towards the end of the season. Teams will certainly have an eye on the National Championship finals in Derby this year, as Doherty hits from the foul line and increases this Manchester lead up to 15, their biggest lead of the game so far.
Yeah, now this is really important now for the Steelers this next couple of minutes, because it could dictate the course of the game. They're really going to have to find some scores.
Bonner and banks into, and that's exactly what Sheffield needed.
Yeah, commentator's blessing. But no,
I'm glad that's catching on.
Yeah.
Anna Alty used it a few weeks ago.
But yeah, Steelers, they really need that score there.
And an offensive foul called against Manchester, so Sheffield get the score, they get a stop and a chance for another score here.
Yeah, and they're really going to have to try and find a score of it, because you know, that when it's kind of around 10, when it's a double digit, it's only around 10. You know, 10 points isn't a huge amount, but when it starts getting to that 13, 15, 17, whatever it may be, just
it stretches it out a little bit, makes it a little bit more difficult as Williams gets the roll. And you want to keep it around that 10-point mark, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And I mean, it's like, as weird as it sounds, because it is obvious, oh yeah, if they score more, if the margin's larger, then it's going to be worse. We know that, but it's the way it kind of feels, kind of mentally as well, when you just see it on the scoreboard.
As Bridge puts in 2 more for Manchester, he's up to 15 points. It's a 13-point Revolution lead. Bonner to Wilson. Wilson has space. Shot short. Bridge gets the rebound.
Yeah, and all the Steelers need to do really is just kind of chip away at the lead. They're not going to instantly get it after a couple of possessions. They just need to get a stop here now. And then after, hopefully find a score.
As Kavanagh fading away, sinks 2 more.
But it's going to be really hard to stop Henley Kavanagh when he's on form like this. He's hardly missed today, Kaz. He really has.
He's up to 22 points already in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous start.
His highest scoring game so far this season was 32 against Northern Ireland, and then did it again against the Whirlwinds.
Could be on track to tie or beat that today.
As Bonner puts up a 3, won't fall. Kavanagh takes the rebound, and Manchester, again, a chance to just increase this lead. Doherty going to the basket, scoops it up and in.
That is a tough shot. I mean, just through all the defense there, literally just flicked up from so low down, able to make his way through, find the bottom of the net. What a shot. I mean, we've seen some really good shots here today.
As Wilson can't answer. We have. I think we should have a compilation of highlight plays from today's game. Highlight shots. Especially Henley Kavanagh's behind the head one.
Yeah, just not even facing the basket. I'm still going to score.
He doesn't care. It doesn't matter. As Bridge drops it over to Woof, and Woof hits the short shot for Manchester. And Manchester now here up to 53 points. They've been averaging just over 61 in a game, and we've still got a couple of minutes left in the 3rd quarter. This is a very high scoring game from them.
Yeah, and it just looks like the scores are going to keep on coming in.
As Williams from the foul line shot spins out. And sometimes can it be a case of, we are late on in the season, but it can take some time, even when you are playing with players that you know well. It can sometimes take a time for everything to click as well. And
long roll.
Everyone on the edge of their seat as Woof shot didn't drop, but sometimes it can take a little while in the season to do it. And also, this is the first season in Division 1 for the Revolution, getting promoted from D2 last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different game. It's only, I mean, it seems like, it's upper division, it's only upper division, but the whole style of basketball is different. The physicality that players play with, the intensity,
the pace as well.
Exactly. So all of these things are just taken into account, and I said it takes a while to adjust. And we are approaching the sort of rear end of the season now, but this is when we are going to see the results of these teams playing together for the whole season, of them being promoted and trying to work out how to play a new way of basketball.
Wilson drains the 3, and that's a big shot for Matt Wilson. Gets his first basket of the game.
Yeah, we spoke about the scoring distribution. Just good to see some of the other Steelers playing get off the mark here.
And then Wilson at the other end on defense knocks the ball out of bounds. It'll stay with Manchester. But great effort there, great hustle. So final minute of the 3rd quarter. Ball's into Bridge. 6 seconds, Bridge. 3 off the back of the rim. And Wilson secures the ball. So Matt Wilson just all over the court on the last few possessions. As he finds Williams, and Williams stops, banks in 2.
Yeah, I mean, in these last couple of moments, this third quarter, the Steelers are finally trying now. They've finally found their rhythm. They finally found the bottom of the net. But they probably would have wanted this a little bit earlier in the quarter, because whilst they've not been finding scores, the Revolution have continued to score and just built on that lead.
As Kavanagh underneath the basket adds 2 more to his total. He's up to 24. And the final 9 seconds of the third. Wilson has it. Bonner able to keep the ball alive, and Bonner won't get the shot to fall. But we had a foul called there, so referees just saying players need to stay on court. They'll put some time on the clock. So there was a foul called just before the shot from Bonner.
Yeah, so
And they'll put 1 second on, so it was an offensive foul. So it was the foul was called against Bonner, that he picks up his third, and with a second on the clock, Manchester will inbound.
Yeah, the Revolution have got a chance to pull something remarkable off it. I mean, it'll be really difficult to score in 1 second, but it's like a tap in it.
Yeah, it's got to be a lob as ball's into Kavanagh, and Kavanagh will put it up. And at the end of the third quarter, a 55-39 lead for Manchester over the Steelers. And that's been a really big third quarter for Manchester. They put up 21 points that quarter to Sheffield's 9.
Yeah, that's a huge total. That they just, as we saw them struggle a little bit in that second quarter. They scored a little bit more towards the end of it, but yeah, this third quarter they've just blown up, really, just exploded. I mean, 21 points in a quarter is 21 points in one quarter, especially to Sheffield's 9. You know, we saw them; took a while to kind of get back into the flow of it. They had their struggles to score. Towards the end, we saw them hit a few, but yeah, 16 points. They have quite a comfortable cushion now, do the Revolution. The Steelers are just going to have to chip away, but they really can't afford to give up many points to Manchester here, and they're going to have to really try and find those scores on every offense. But that was 16 points. It just looks a little bit more painful right now because it's kind of like 55-39. When it gets to that 57 sort of 41 mark, it feels better just because it's closer. One digit.
Yeah, definitely. And Manchester, they've been led by Henley Kavanagh, 24 points. And Billy Bridge with 15 points. And then for the Steelers, it's been Joe Williams with 15 points and Will Bonner with 14. And Bonner averaging 6.6 points a game in Division 1 so far, and up to 14 today, so surpassing his average as the Steelers look to cut into this Manchester lead. Shot doesn't fall. Bridge, he had those 9 points in the first quarter for Manchester, up to 15 now. So, as we said, you try and stop Billy Bridge, but then Henley Kavanagh's there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Bridge, yeah, he scored quite a few in that first quarter, first half. Slowed down a little bit, but he doesn't only impact the game in terms of scoring. He's made some really brilliant passes today. We've seen him a lot of time, that sort of link up between him and Henley Kavanagh. He just makes a nice little sort of floaty pass. You think it's going to get intercepted. It finds its way to Henley Kavanagh, and then Henley Kavanagh just, throws the ball while facing the other way. And
scores.
Yeah, it's just casually, as you do.
So Manchester ball from the sideline. Doherty. Pass is knocked away. And Luke Holland into the game for the first time for Sheffield, comes up with the steal. That'll be foul number 1 against the Revolution. So sideline ball for Sheffield. Bonner over to Holland. Into Williams, ball's loose. And Steelers come up with the loose ball. 7 seconds. Thompson. And it's off the rim. Williams can't save it, so it'll be Manchester possession. And we see Brad Thompson back out into the game for Sheffield. He's on those 3 fouls. As Bridge has the ball for the Revolution. Over to Kavanagh. Kavanagh spinning. And a 3-second call goes against Manchester. Anisha, at this point in the game, obviously Manchester have the lead. Sheffield trying to chip into it, but that's something we've seen consistently from Manchester through the course of the game, that 3-second call. And that's something that you know, is whilst they have the lead at the moment, if this becomes a closer game, that's something that they're going to need to look at.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw so many of them in that first half. I think, to be fair to the Revolution, they did a lot better job at kind of damping down on them in the third quarter. Then I don't think we got any in the third quarter, but
no.
Certainly in them first two, there was so many calls. And we spoke about how much that's going to actually impact the game, so they won't want to let that sort of habit creep into this fourth, especially because they have this nice, comfortable lead.
As Kavanagh on one wheel puts the ball in the basket.
He's just trying out everything today, isn't he? He's pulling all those moves out of the bag.
I think he's playing horse.
Yes, no one's. I don't think anyone's kept up with him yet, though.
As Williams responds for the Steelers. Williams now up to 17 points, cuts the lead down to 16. Kavanagh. English racing up ahead. English going to the basket, banks into, and Kaylee English gets onto the scoreboard.
Yep, on International Women's Day as well.
Great basket from English. An English, a player that made her senior team debut for Great Britain at the European Championships in Bosnia in October. A player with a really bright future. As I didn't catch who got that one. Someone just stepped in front. Was that Luke Collins?
I think it was.
As it was Luke Holland, so impact off the bench from Holland gets his first points of the game. And the Steelers just, they are chipping away into this lead.
Yeah, especially now we're seeing other players get on the board as well. I mean, that first sort of 2.5 quarters we saw kind of only 3 players contribute to that scoring. Not that they weren't moving the ball around before, but now they're continuing to move around. They're finding the scores from other people, and like we spoke about Manchester, it just makes it harder for the Revolution to defend them, because now it's not, they can't only focus on one player, they have to focus on everyone. They can't let anyone slip through, really. Yeah,
when everyone can be a threat, it's very difficult.
It is very difficult to defend, but how many points is it? 60. I hate doing like maths on the spot, but yeah, 16 points. The Revolution, they have kept their lead, whilst the Steelers are finding the scores, the Revolution have continued to keep that cushion. The Steelers are going to have to dig in deep now to kind of break back into that. They're going to have to get some stops, find some scores at the other end, and then they've got a chance. As easy as it sounds, but it's not easier said than done. Especially when you've got Henley Kavanagh shooting backward shots and hitting them every time.
Kavanagh over to Woof. Bridge going to the basket, adds in 2 more, and Bridge is up to 17. And that transition game from Manchester, that's something we saw them do a lot in Division 2, and they've certainly got a lot more comfortable being able to find that rhythm in Division 1 later in the season.
Yeah, we've seen some really good breaks today. Not only just like one person charging ahead. There's been a lot of times where they might have had an advantage. It might have been 2-on-1, it might have been 3-on-2. They're just able to move that ball around and find the best shot and just get nice, easy layups.
As Williams hits for the Steelers, he's up to 19. Sheffield not going anywhere here in this fourth quarter. Bridge to Doherty. Doherty has space and in off the glass. And that's a couple of times now Manchester have been able to find a shot further down towards the basket, as Sheffield defending quite high.
Yeah, the Revolution, they've just kind of read what the Steelers are doing. They're just absolutely capitalising off it.
As Thompson, with a tough shot, had about 4 hands in his face, still able to finish under the basket.
Yeah, the Steelers finally just being able to consistently find scores, but they just can't slow down the Revolution score, and that's what it's going to come down to. That's what's been killing them all game.
As Bonner knocks the ball out of bounds, Manchester will take it from the sideline. Doherty to Bridge. Kavanagh. And ball's loose, picked up by Holland. Holland also playing the Premier Division for the Steelers this season, and that game will be coming up after this one at 5:30. As Bridge racing down the sideline against Thompson, and Bridge draws the foul. So it'll be Manchester ball from the end line. That's the second team foul on the Steelers.
Yeah, Bridge did a really good job there, kind of just bringing all those defenders in. You know, they know he's a threat, so every time he's attacking, they're doubling him. In that case, they're tripling him. You know, it just leaves one of his other players open. So it'll be interesting how the Revolution go about playing that.
Definitely. So just over 5.5 minutes to play in the fourth. Kavanagh. Kavanagh to Bridge, 4 seconds on the clock, 3 seconds, Bridge puts it up, not that time, ball's tipped, and Kavanagh gets the rebound and finishes on the second chance. And he's up to 28 points. Do we think he's hitting 32?
I think we might see it today, because, you know, the rate that he's been scoring at, definitely on track for him to be hitting that 32. I think he'll get more. Do you think he'll get the same or more?
34.
Yeah. I'm going to say 33 just to be awkward.
Ooh, a free throw.
Yeah. Or a three-pointer.
So it'll be sideline ball for Sheffield. As ball's into Thompson. Holland. Holland stops under the basket and can't get it to go. Bridge. Ball's knocked away. Sheffield can't quite keep it inside the line, so Manchester will get it back from the end line. And we've got a timeout called, so 4:47 to play here in the fourth quarter. 65-47, Manchester leading over the Steelers. Henley Kavanagh, 28 points, leading all scorers. And then Joe Williams with 19 for Sheffield.
Yeah, I mean, how many points? This is me trying to work. In my mind, I worked out and I was like 12 points. Well, it's not 12 points, is it?
No. It's 18.
Yeah, that's the one.
So Manchester really stretching out the lead here in the fourth quarter. And Manchester, we said it before, but they've been averaging 61.2 points a game. They're up to 65 here. And Sheffield, a team that have been averaging 76.6 points a game, they've really held them significantly under their average here.
Yeah, and it's just like now every time the Revolution score, it's just going to get a little bit more and more unbelievable for the Steelers. So they're going to really have to find stops. You speak of my old game, but obviously we know basketball you lose because which one team scores the most points, but they've just they haven't been able to consistently defend the Revolution well and actually slow down those scores. They might have slowed them down for a brief moment, but the majority of the time, the Revolution have just kept on finding those scores, finding the bottom of the net.
So back on the floor, it's Manchester possession. Kavanagh thought about it, finds Doherty. Doherty from the foul line, it's off the front of the rim. And Thompson takes it down the floor. And we've got a stop on the floor.
It was a shot clock error, maybe? Oh, timeout. Oh, should we use timeout or technical? But she signaled for a technical foul. I'm assuming it's not a technical foul, though. I'm assuming it's like a official's timeout or something.
Oh, I think it was. No, I think it was a technical there.
Oh, who's it?
As Sheffield will be at the line. So Will Bonner at the line taking a free throw. So that's.
Did you catch who the technical was on?
No, I didn't there. Other than Manchester. So Bonner hits the free throw. And it's a 65-48 lead for Manchester as Thompson stops, puts it up, banks it in. Cuts the lead down to 15, and Sheffield now, if they can get this down to a 10-point game with around 3 minutes left.
Yeah, they want anything more than 10 points.
As Bridge lays in 2 more, and he's going to make it very difficult for Sheffield.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just every time they found the stops, Sheffield, the Revolution able to bounce back straight away and continue to find the scores and continue to put on the pressure on defense.
Holland fading away, gets the roll. And Holland has had a real impact off the bench. He's just come on in the 4th quarter, but 4 points. Had a couple of steals for Sheffield. As ball will go back Manchester's way.
Yeah, he's just that energy that Sheffield needed. I mean, the guys and girls who are out there were there for a long time, and sometimes you just need those fresh legs and that fresh voice to bring the energy to the team.
Yeah, certainly. Ball's into Thompson. Bonner working against Bridge. Oh, great defense from Bridge. He's a literal mirror of Bonner there. That's absolutely fantastic defense from Billy Bridge.
Yeah.
Runs the shot clock down.
Yeah, just like putting on that pressure, being disciplined when it really, really matters. Just every single possession now counts for the Steelers, but the clock is on the Revolution side, so they don't mind if it's 21st-second violation. They don't mind if they have to play defense for 23 seconds.
Because they can just use the clock.
Exactly. I mean, there's 3 minutes, 5 seconds to go now. They do have, 15 points still. Just they're able to keep that cushion. It is a nice cushion to have. And if the Steelers brought this back in the next 3 minutes, then they kind of deserve to win it.
So Thompson will pick up his 4th foul as we've got a timeout called. And Manchester with a 67-52 lead. And then coming up after this game at 5:30, we've got the Premier Division game between both of these teams. And that's a potential title decider, is that one. So a game you absolutely don't want to miss. And it's always anytime, whichever division it is, but anytime Sheffield and Manchester come up against each other, it's always a battle.
Yeah, it is, no matter what category or age you said, as you said before. It's like kind of just the northern sort of rivalry, isn't it? Yeah.
The Cross-Pennine rivalry.
Yeah, that's the one
that we've got. So leading all scorers so far is Henley Cabinet with 28 points personal, and Billy Bridge with 19 for Manchester, and then Joe Williams with 19 and Will Bonner with 15 for Sheffield.
Yeah, this could be a really exciting next 3 minutes of the game here. Could go either way. It's currently favoured to Manchester, but still could go either way.
Certainly a lot of time left to be able to do it for Sheffield.
It is, and anything could happen in basketball. Anything in this time.
The ball's into Kavanagh. Over to Oldham. Little under the basket. Holland picks up another ball, and Luke Holland again. He's been in the right place at the right time, picking up loose balls for the Steelers as Bonner weaving inside gets the foul call. So Bonner will go to the foul line.
I mean, it's good to see the Steelers being aggressive. They're driving hard, going in hard, nice and strong, taking it up, and they're drawing the fouls. And they need some sort of option of scoring. So if they get fouled, at least they get to the free throw line. But it's better than just kind of being a bit shy and, shying away from the contact. Because at the moment, they need every opportunity to score that they can.
Bonner doesn't get the first to go. Played Eurocup 2 with the Steelers last year. Had 6 points against Aliados in their opening game and gets the second. So it's a 14-point game. Kavanagh over to Bridge. Bridge has space. That's too strong, and the ball's tipped, but it'll be last touch Sheffield, so stays with Manchester. I think Bridge was a bit confused as to why he was so open then.
Yeah, definitely, especially this late on in the game when the Steelers need a stop. I mean, just those small inconsistencies, that's probably what makes the difference between winning and losing.
Oldham over to Kavanagh. Ball's into Little, and it's tipped. Bridge can't get it to drop. As Bonner Has Jennings on him. Sheffield looking for a score. Holland. 6 seconds on the clock. Holland can't get it to fall. Final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. Kavanagh has Jennings up ahead, and Jennings gets the bounce, and Leon Jennings gets himself onto the scoreboard. And you can see there just the spread of scoring for Manchester. 7 players that have been on the floor have got onto the scoreboard as Thompson can't get the 3 to go. Holland picks up the rebound, and Williams under the basket lays in 2.
Yeah, and that last bucket though from the Revolution is kind of the dagger, because we have 1 minute 30 seconds remaining. It's a really large margin, and it's probably unlikely that Steel's going to catch up now. They just need to kind of keep.
As basket's good at the other end, a huge basket there for Andrew Liddell. And he's going to go to the foul line for a chance at a 3-point play.
Yeah, I mean, literally as we were just saying, the Revolution, they've created this really good comfort blanket, and they've just kept it. They kept it on the whole time. Steelers did as much as they could to try and bring it back, but yeah, Revolution just able to keep it under more control, under their own control, should I say.
They've kind of dictated the pace, haven't they? They've been able to play how they wanted to. And a really high-scoring game for Manchester. I know I've kept saying that, but it is, as Bonner passes inside. And at the other end, another and one opportunity for Sheffield. So Thompson with a tough shot will get another chance here at the foul line. And Brad Thompson averaging 12.1 points a game so far in Division 1 this season. And averaging just over 8 points in the Premier Division.
Yeah, it's good to see that both teams are just continuing to fight. Even though that we are towards the rear end of the game now, we're kind of in crunch time, they are still fighting, both teams. Steelers still fighting, Revolution still fighting. We'd rather that than just give up.
It's what you want to see as well, isn't it? For coaches as well, they obviously always want that, because if you're in a game, as Thompson hits the free throw, you're in a game that is tight, you can use these kind of games to practice things. As Holland steals the pass on the inbound.
But yeah, exactly, because no experience like game experience. There's a lot of things you can learn, you can be taught, but if you're actually in the game, using your brain, thinking what you're doing, then that's when it becomes difficult. So.
And ball's taken away by Sheffield. So Sheffield, in the final minute of the game, have possession. They're down 11. Thompson backing away off the back of the rim as Bridge looks to get it over the halfway line. Kavanagh's there, and it'll be an 8-second violation, so it'll be back with the Steelers. And the Steelers a good run again, but maybe have just left it a little bit too late.
Definitely, because I mean that possession there just goes to show, the intensity that the Steelers have been playing with in this game, and just as you said, they probably have left it a little bit late, because that is the stop that they needed about the start of this quarter, or a couple of minutes ago.
As they add in 2 more, cut it down to a 9-point game, and Bonner intercepts the ball, gets the foul. And that's going to put Bonner back at the foul line, an unsportsmanlike call. So 2 free throws and possession. So maybe it's not quite over yet, Isha.
Yeah, as you said, anything can happen in the game of basketball. Anything could happen. 30 seconds, still a long time.
So Bonner, 15 points personal today. It spins out.
You'll need the next one.
Had a 9-point, 14-rebound game against the London Titans, playing in the Premier Division in February, as he does get the second. So 71-63, Manchester leading. Bonner lines up a 3, doesn't go that time. Bridge with the rebound. Kavanagh. And Kavanagh will take it to the basket, draws the foul, so Henley Kavanagh will go to the free throw line.
Didn't know what he was going to pull out then. I mean, the way he was setting up looked like he was about to do something really special, but kept it nice and simple. Just got the finish, got the foul, the free throw line.
So Kevin shooting 2 for Manchester. He's leading all scorers with 28 points.
Very impressive for someone who's his age.
As he doesn't get the first to go. Kevin was MVP of the Division 2 final last season and gets the second. He's up to 29. Williams has it for the Steelers. Over to Holland. Thompson underneath the basket, stops, spins. Not that time. And ball will go out of bounds. We've got 2.5 seconds on the clock. And it'll be Manchester ball. And that'll do it. So Manchester coming out on top against the Sheffield Steelers, 72-63. A really big win for Manchester there in Division 1 in their last home game of the season. Henley Kavanagh with 29 points and Billy Bridge with 19 points. But if we look at the scoreboard there, the spread of scoring for Manchester, really impressive.
Yeah, isn't it? Just it goes to show again, something we spoke about all game, but when a team has multiple high caliber players, it just makes it harder for the defense, and that is what this Manchester side is about. You know, anyone can score on any given day. They move the ball around, they look at the basket, whereas again, respect to the Steelers, but they just weren't able to shut that down today. You know, they only had 3 people contribute to the scoring until the third quarter. So overall, great performance from Manchester. Great performance from the Revolution to win that by 9 points.
Yep.
Especially considering it's their first season in the D1, you know, it just adds on to the momentum, adds on to the win total. But Steelers will be sad to not have got that one. But
and a big 24-point game from Joe Williams, and then Will Bonner adding in 16 for the Steelers and 14 points from Brad Thompson. So that'll be Manchester's last home game of the season. They'll be playing away in April to Lothian Phoenix and Tees Valley on the 18th and 19th of April, and then the Steelers are at home to the Whirlwinds on the 22nd of March. So the final score, 72 to Manchester, 63 to the Sheffield Steelers. From myself, Kaz Bullock, and from Isha Nair, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back with a Premier Division game at 5:30.